at 7 ways to handle financial stress during COVID-19. Over to you, Mr. Charles.
Yes, thank you very much, Gina. Like you have said, the topic is ways to handle financial stress during COVID-19. COVID-19 is still on.
Yeah, so COVID is still here.
COVID is still
like I always
here.
say, COVID never left.
COVID never left.
Yes.
Okay.
COVID just decided to,
Give us some breathing space.
a little bit.
But the figures that are
Are
coming
going up, yeah, so
we just have to be careful. But let's even look at the COVID. When the COVID actually came, when it was declared a pandemic last year. In fact, the economic impact on Nigerians was very, very devastating. A lot of people lost their job. Most people were being paid half salary. Most people were saying, okay, stay at home. There were a lot of crises here and there. And of course, we know that there was stress. But most importantly, financial stress. Somebody that was going to work, earning income. At that point in time, some people could not earn any money. And there were a lot of palliatives here and there. But these palliatives did not even get to the hands of the people.
Eating palliatives that we discovered during NSAS.
So there were a lot of issues here and there. But we are saying, for us, Broadstreet Radio, this program, Investor Education, we need to begin to talk to investors. How do you manage your financial stress during this pandemic? Because like you have said, the pandemic never left us. So what are the things we need to do? If you look at other clients, even in the US, there were a lot of job losses.
Yes, a lot of people had to file for unemployment claims. And unfortunately for some people, they filed for claims when they actually had, means to support themselves. And that was one of the things that, not just unemployment claim, some people filed for, I've forgotten the other thing, not bankruptcy.
Okay.
Yes, they filed and the government paid them. And that was one of the things that got the former head to Ogun State governor, I've forgotten his name. Yes, with the US government. Yes,
okay, that's
he
true.
used multiple names to claim unemployment benefits. And there was another rapper, there's this show I watch, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, who also collected claims for his business. He was paid money. Yeah, then businesses that could not run, they had support them. Yes, he claimed the money and used it to buy expensive wristwatches and that shows you that the financial system is set in a way that it is almost impossible for you to cheat them.
I see. Okay.
So it's almost impossible for you to cheat them. And I saw that he got a conviction to spend I think 3 years in prison or so.
Okay. So we can see that it was a real crisis that period. But gradually, when the economy was now, they tried to open up some jobs, people have to come to work, things are gradually improving. But the pandemic is still there. I know some people today that have permanently lost their job, So, but how do we begin to cope as the pandemic is on? Let's see. So, although some things are outside our control right now, what we can be doing to manage the financial stress. I remember in health and wellness, we're also talking about stress.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a good one. So now let's look at some of these tips that we can use to manage financial stress during this pandemic. One, review your current spending. You know that it was even during that lockdown that some people realized that they could survive without so many things. Yes. Instead of two pieces of meat, some people can just do with just one or even half, So we could really make do and survive on so many things. So review your current spending. You can't create a plan and determine a budget if you don't have an idea of your current spending and outgoing. So get a grip on this first. So at that time, currently even now, please review your current spending. If you are spending so much on food, please reduce the amount of food, because you don't even go anywhere. You are limited to the number of places you go, and when you go, you're expected to also maintain non-pharmaceutical strategy to take care of the pandemic. That is your masks, and you have to keep washing your hands. In fact, till today, there are some places you want to enter the building, you don't allow you to enter without your face masks. Medifair building, where you operate, is one of such a building. So we just need to continue to do that. But as an investor, you need to review your current spending so that the income you were getting when things were normal, you're not getting that same income. So you need to reduce. There are areas you have to look at. But you cannot do this if you don't have a budget. So you just need to draw your budget and see the areas where you can cut down. I mean, of what use this period you going to get a new car? Of what use is it? Of what use is you going to get a designer's wristwatch? It does not really matter now. So this is the time you need to cut down on those things that are not too essential and focus more on the things that are essential. So that is the first step. Review your, So 2, create a budget, because for you to review your spending, you need to create a budget. Creating a budget is one of the best ways to manage money and lower financial stress. It may be unliked, but it is necessary, and a great way to keep on top of things financially and combat financial worries. From reviewing your spending in tip 1, you will probably find expenses you can cut down. You can cut down or eliminate and find better ways to spend. Your budget should ensure you cover immediate expenses and obligations like loan repayment. Of course, we even know that CBN gives some people a kind of grace, those who are taking a loan. You should then look at what you can save if possible. Is that realistic during the pandemic to save? Of course, if it is possible, you can do it. Also, watch this financial advice video on, just see how you can create a budget and stick to it. That is more important in this COVID period. Create a budget and see how you can stick to it. 3, track your progress. Track your progress over the short term, such as days and weeks. Keep a spreadsheet of actual expenses so you can compare it with your budget. After a month, sit down with your partner and determine how you went against the budget. If you can go below the budget for some item, then edit your budget. There will be items in which you need to adjust, but only if it is necessary, such as being related to an essential item. So what we are saying is, during this pandemic, you have your budget that you have prepared. A week or so, you can compare your actual spending and what you have in the budget, and compare. If you see that you have done below budget, then that tells you that you are doing well. So if you can put this in practice, you will get a handle of how to overcome financial stress and be good with money. The next tip is think about changes. Some changes, such as eating healthy, can not only help our waistlines and overall health, but they can also lead to decreased food spending as we are eating less processed meals. Yes, we know that period food items also became scarce and expensive, but you should not look at the essential food that you need, you really require. You don't need to be going to an eatery for you to eat at that period. In fact, even the COVID protocol that were available even up till now, you have to reduce your going to such places. So, and people are saying, when you are at home, you tend to eat more. But again, we have seen that with your budget, of course, you're able to control what you spend, and at the same time, the amount of calorie that it has to be deliberate, because it is a pandemic. Thank God now we can still move around, but things are not 100% normal. So we just still need to consider so many things that we do. So right now, for example, it's also a great time to be doing do-it-yourself activities around the house if you're a home owner. Learn how to cook. If you don't regularly cook, is another great example of an activity we can do right now, which can help our finances. Not only right now, but also after the pandemic is over. So this is also good. I saw some of my neighbors who were bachelors. They normally go outside to eat, but that period they were forced to learn how to cook and do things for themselves. Of course, some of them saw the positive part of it. So even when we are saying pandemic, people have learned new skills. People have learned how to survive with less, without necessarily bringing down their standard of living. So another tip again is consolidate debt or get the best deal. Yes, if it was a normal situation, you just buy certain things, you don't really bargain. But in this pandemic, if you're even going to look for your food item, your grocery, you will really bargain very well so that what you are going to get will last you for a period of time. Okay. So if you have debt across multiple providers or product debt, consider whether you are getting the best deal. For example, you may be able to consider range of high interest credit, maybe personal loans, lower interest, even under your home loan or line of credit facility. I know some mortgage bank try to tell their customers, in fact, they suspended some mortgage payments. Okay, so seek help from a financial advisor if required. If you have a home or investment loan and haven't reviewed it in a while, then check your interest rate. You may be able to get a better rate by changing provider. So that also was possible.
This particular tip about changing provider, not just about loan alone. Even recently, there is this HMO that I use, and I check the plan that I'm using. So someone else had introduced a different HMO, and then when I compared the benefits, and I also that this new one even has more benefits and it's way cheaper than this other one, and I'm thinking of switching.
Exactly.
Soon.
So what we are saying, you need to get the best deal during this period because things have not gone to normal. Even when things get back to normal, you can see that you will have been able to save, and at the same time now you will less worry and reduce your financial stress because that is the essence. How do you cope with financial stress during this pandemic? That is the essence of today's topic. So consider be innovative. Okay, the next tip is think creatively. You saw how people became very creative during that lockdown. People could learn things from YouTube, and they would do it. Post it online. People would make demand, and they would deliver. So people became so creative, and they were making some little money because, of course, people could not go to the factory. People could not go to work. Even if they go to work, their hours of working were reduced.
Yes.
And even most organizations
couldn't even pay.
So people have to look for other sources of income, thinking outside the box.
I remember a lady that sells food online. Although a lot of people ordered food a lot online during the pandemic, but she said that somehow sales was kind of slow. But during when the lockdown was eased, though, that what she now did was that some of our customers, they started cooking themselves.
To reduce
that
cost.
There was a day that she just had to throw shame out of the door. She prepared food, put them in cooler, and put in a truck, and she went out. She said she sold that day.
Because food is one of the essential things that people are allowed
that
to
she
operate.
really sold that. It really taught her a new
and she can still continue.
She continued. And she said she had a truck that is parked somewhere. Like when you go to that passport office now in the morning, there's a lady that parks her car and in the boot of the car you start selling jollof rice, spaghetti, fried rice, different type of food.
But I hope as they are doing all that, they are still observing the COVID protocol.
Yes, they are, because they are very strict about it around there. Yes.
Okay, so that is think creatively. Okay, so consider items you regularly use that you can purchase in bulk at the market or discount rate. So there are several great ways to save. You can even learn to make your own do-it-yourself cleaning product at home, you know, using natural ingredients. I even saw some persons who were not chemists, but they were able to produce sanitizer using ethanol.
It's just ethanol. Like ethanol, yes. Yeah. Here in Nigeria, I don't know, we don't do couponing, but there is this, I don't think I've told you about it. There's this show, they call it Extreme Coupons on TLC. You see people, they coupon to the point that they have a ledger for arranging all those things. And there's a particular old woman says she has been couponing for like 35 years.
Wonderful. And
that her family and her grandchildren, even her children, they've not bought groceries for years.
Wow. Just that we don't do it
yeah. They coupon to the point that the supermarket owes them.
Can you imagine? So I think these are certain things that, looking at our times, we need to begin to introduce in this part of our environment. So the next tip, be thankful no matter the situation. Despite the pandemic, we saw things, we're still alive. We should be grateful to that. There is a purpose for everything. So we should be thankful. No matter what has happened, we can still at least move around one way or the other. We can still communicate. So we should be thankful to the Almighty God for making that possible. Of course, while we are doing that, we are observing the non-pharmaceutical protocol in terms of COVID-19. So be thankful. It's also a tip for you to cope with the stress of financial issue during the pandemic, because we are still in the pandemic. So be thankful is a tip in coping with financial stress during COVID-19. When you have done what you can do to manage your finances, stop thinking about it. Taking action is the key. But then, fretting about it endlessly will not add any value. Yes, people are still thinking, how long is this going to continue? What are we going to do? Are they going to come back in that job? You don't need to begin to be fearful any longer. Be thankful for what you have done, what you have, and enjoy simple activities with your family. Do you know that people learn how to stay with their family? People learn how to play with their children at home. You know, so there are some positive of this COVID-19. But again, as human nature, we still want to connect often. We still want to travel often. You know, we don't want any restriction. But again, because of the times in which we find ourselves, it is better to follow those protocols. And the pandemic will be with us for quite some time. But I believe we are going to learn how to live with the pandemic. So, although COVID-19 has brought about financial stress for many people, that's the truth. There are things we can do to help manage our finances. Hopefully, these pieces of advice, actionable advice, how to handle financial stress, will help you curb your anxiety around how to handle money during the pandemic. So please still stay safe, wash your hands frequently, put on your masks as soon as you leave your house. Then that physical distances, please still maintain it when you are, even when you are in public space. Then of course, please go and get your jab. Go and get your jab. Well, listening to the news recently, I discovered that there were so many funny things that are happening concerning this jab. People who travel, some will not even take the jab. They will go and pay money to collect the what do you call that? The scan and all that. I think please and please, we are talking about your health. If you don't even care for your health, what about other people? What about your family members? What is the essence of you going to pay and collect the card without actually taking the jab? I think that is the highest level of disservice to yourself. It is better you take the jab and get the card than just going to pay money. And if all those health officials that will be ready to give people the card without them taking the jab, in fact, I think for me, it should be a criminal offense. It's a criminal offense. And also, for me, it's even attempted murder. Because you will show people that you have taken the jab when you are not even taking the jab. So as we try our best to maintain and take care of our finances during this COVID, we should also make sure that medically we follow the ethics. We take the jab before getting the card. So please, all those health officials or whatever, at the airport or anywhere, please do not give anybody that card when they have not taken the jab. It is very, very important. It is those who are alive that will travel. So hopefully, as we have said earlier, these pieces of action advice on how to handle financial stress will help you curb your anxiety around how to handle money during the pandemic, as long as we do the right thing. So please take the jab. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Charles, for that segment on Investors Education Series. We'll go for a short break. We will be back.